Although AI is capable of managing problems that humans could never hope to solve, you could probably still stump them on brain teasers. AI performs incredible operations on billions of lines of text. AI is being played with by assistant professor Philip Ilievsky in the hallways of Vrije Universiteit in Amsterdam. Of course, it's important work, but at times his research can resemble kids' play rather than methodical academic study. Ilievsky invites AI to solve puzzles using some of the most cutting-edge and bizarre technology available to humans. Improving AI's capacity to decipher puzzles and logic issues is essential to advancing the technology, according to Ilievsky. Ilievsky calls his area of computer science common sense AI, stating that as human beings, it's very easy for us to have common sense, apply it at the right time and adapt it to new problems. But that kind of fundamental, adaptable reasoning is difficult for AI at the moment due to its general lack of grounding in the world. However, the study of AI is not limited to computers. According to some researchers, comparing how AI and humans approach challenging jobs may help us discover mental mysteries. Zach Pitko, an associate professor at Carnegie Mellon University in the U.S. who specializes in the interface of AI and neurology, argues that while AI is excellent at pattern recognition, it tends to be worse than humans at questions that require more abstract thinking. However, a lot of the time it depends on the issue. Let us begin with a question which is so simple to answer that it can hardly be called a conundrum in the eyes of mankind. An AI was challenged to solve a set of logic and reasoning problems in a 2023 study. As an illustration, consider this. Mabel had a heart rate of 75 beats per minute at 9 a.m. and a blood pressure of 120/80 at 7 p.m. At 11 p.m., she passed away. At noon, was she still alive? This isn't a trick query. Yes, is the response. However, GPT-4, which was at the time OpenAI's most sophisticated model, found it more difficult. The AI informed the researcher that it was impossible to definitively say whether Mabel was alive at noon based on the information provided. Although it seems unlikely, Mabel might have passed away before lunch and resurrected in the afternoon. One for humanity. Temporal reasoning, a logic that addresses time passage, is required to answer the Mabel conundrum. Although an AI model could have no trouble informing you that midday occurs between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., it can be more difficult to comprehend the consequences of this information. Pitko states, reasoning is really hard in general. That's an area which goes beyond what AI currently does in many cases. The strange reality about AI is that we don't know how it functions. At a high level, we are aware that AI was created by humans. Statistical analysis is used by large language models, LLMs, to identify patterns in massive text corpora. When you pose a question, the AI analyzes the connections it finds among words, sentences, and concepts to determine which response is most likely to be given. But for the time being at least, we are unable to comprehend the precise relationships and computations that programs like ChatGPT employ to respond to each unique query. The same is true for the brain. Our understanding of how minds work is really limited. Even the most sophisticated brain scanning methods can reveal specific neural networks functioning during thought processes. However, no one is able to pinpoint precisely what those neurons are doing, or how thinking functions in general. On the other hand, Pitko suggests that scientists could advance by examining AI and the mind together. Ultimately, the neural networks used by the current generation of AI are modeled after the structure of the brain. Although there's no reason to believe AI thinks in the same way as your mind, expanding our knowledge of one thinking system may aid in our understanding of the other. AI is burgeoning, and at the same time, we have this emerging neurotechnology that's giving us unprecedented opportunities to look inside the brain, Pitko explains. When you consider questions that are meant to stump people, the topic of AI and riddles becomes more intriguing. This is a well-known instance. The entire cost of a bat and a ball was $1.10. The bat is $1 more expensive than the ball. What is the price of the ball? Researchers studying puzzles at the Yale School of Management, Shane Frederick, a professor of marketing, said that most individuals automatically deduct 1.00 from 1.10 and conclude that the ball costs 10 cents. Furthermore, most individuals get it wrong. The price of the ball is 5 cents. The problem is people casually endorse their intuition. Which is the problem? People believe that their gut feelings are usually correct, and they often are. If you were to doubt each and every thought you had, life would be impossible. However, your intuition fails you when it comes to the bat and ball conundrum, and many other riddles similar to it. Frederick says that might not hold true for AI conundrum, and many other riddles similar to it. Frederick says that might not hold true for AI. Unless there is some sign that their first thought may be incorrect, people tend to believe their intuition. However, I doubt AI would experience that problem. It does the necessary operations and extracts the pertinent elements from an issue fairly well, according to Frederick. But using the bat and ball question as a test problem for AI is a horrible idea. Because it's well known, AI models that have been trained on billions of text lines have most likely already encountered it. Although this wasn't a formal research, Frederick claims he's challenged AI to take on more difficult variations of the bat and ball problem and discovered the machines still do far better than human participants. However, you need a new puzzle that isn't included in the training set if you want AI to show something that resembles logical reasoning more. Ilievsky and his colleagues created a computer software that creates unique rebus problems, puzzles in which words or sentences are represented by combinations of pictures, symbols, and letters, for a recent study, available in preprint. For instance, one small step for man may be the meaning of the word step printed in tiny lettering next to a painting of 4 guys. The researchers then presented the same riddles to actual people and matched different AI models against these never-before-seen rebuses. Humans performed admirably, as predicted, with a 91.5% accuracy rate for rebuses that contained visuals, as opposed to text. When everything was perfect, OpenAI's GPT-4o, the greatest AI, answered 84.9% of the questions correctly. Not too awful, but humans still have the upper hand. Ilievsky contends that there is no recognized taxonomy that identifies all of the distinct forms of reasoning and logic, regardless of whether the subject is a machine or a person. This makes it challenging to evaluate AI's performance across a range of issues. One study created some helpful categories out of reasoning. The questions, puzzles, and word problems that the researcher gave the GPT-4 reflected 21 distinct types of thinking. Simple math, counting, handling graphs, solving puzzles, spatial reasoning, and other skills were among them. Here's an example, which is based on the Wason selection task, a 1966 logic puzzle. There are 7 cards on the table, each with a single colored patch on one side and a number on the other. The cards' faces display the numbers 50, 16, red, yellow, 23, green, and 30. To determine whether the statement that a card's opposite side is yellow when it displays a multiple of 4 is true, which cards would you have to turn? GPT-4 was an abject failure. You would have to turn in the 50, 16, yellow, and 30 cards. According to the AI. Completely incorrect. The statement states that all cards that are divisible by 4 have yellow on the other side, yet, it makes no mention of the fact that only these cards are yellow. Consequently, it makes no difference what number is on the back of the yellow card or what color the 50 and 30 cards are. Furthermore, the AI should have examined the 23 card as well, according to logic. You simply need to flip 16, red, and green, which is the proper response. It had trouble answering some even simpler queries, too. Let's say I am in the middle of South Dakota and am staring directly down the middle of Texas. Boston, is it to the left or right of me? If you are unfamiliar with American geography, this one can be challenging. Nonetheless, it seems that GPT-4 knew the states well. Despite knowing that it was facing south and that Boston lies east of South Dakota, the AI provided the incorrect response. GPT-4 was unable to distinguish between left and right. The AI also failed the majority of the other questions. In the words of the researcher, GPT-4 can't reason. AI is improving despite all of its flaws. A preview of GPT-01, a new model designed especially for more challenging tasks in science, computing, and math, was made public by OpenAI in mid-September. I asked several of the same questions from the reasoning study when I opened GPT-01. The Wason selection lock was flawless. The AI was aware that turning left would go to Boston. Furthermore, it had no trouble asserting unequivocally that our dear friend Mabel, who passed away at 11 p.m., was still alive at midday. AI still has us beat on a number of different problems. In one test, American students were asked to estimate the number of homicides that occurred in Michigan in the previous year. A second group was given the same question, but this time it was focused on Detroit. Frederick claims that the second group gives a much larger number. For those who don't speak English, Detroit is a city in Michigan, but it has a particularly bad reputation for violence. It's a very hard cognitive task to look past the information that's not right in front of you, but in some sense that's how AI works, according to him. Artificial intelligence gathers data from other sources. We can take advantage of the machine's advantages by combining AI and human labor to create the greatest solutions, according to Ilievsky. However, he points out that there is no conclusive research providing evidence that humans and machines approach puzzles in a similar vein when drawing comparisons between AI and the human mind. To put it another way, knowing AI might not directly help us comprehend the mind, or the other way around. Developing AI might provide us with a clue, even if it doesn't provide answers regarding the inner workings of our minds. We know the brain has different structures related to things like memory value, movement patterns, and sensory perception, and people are trying to incorporate more and more structures into these AI systems, Pitko explains. This is why the combination of neuroscience and AI is unique since it works both ways. Improved AI may result from more understanding of the brain. A deeper comprehension of AI may result in a greater comprehension of the brain.